Good morning or good afternoon, everybody, depending on where you are. As we said, we're going to get kicked off on our webinar, Stretch Your Cloud Training Budget with Skill Me Up. So I wanted to start the webinar just by kind of giving a little context, a little bit of background on what we're seeing in the industry just over the past year or two. And the very first thing I'd like to call out is there's this nice little chart, survey results from Flexera. It's from their 2019 State of the Cloud report. And one of the key things that we've been seeing for years and years and years, ever since people started making a migration to the cloud, is that lack of resources, expertise is a big challenge. And you can see from the survey result here that 80% of respondents to the Flexera survey did cite that lack of resources and expertise is a significant cloud blocker, a challenge for them migrating to the cloud. So not a whole lot new if you've been looking at this for a while. It's just something to keep in mind that we've been looking at this since 2013, and the numbers are still really, really high. That training is still a big issue with our customers. Now, another survey, and this one's a little bit more recent, and I have to imagine that this one was done a little bit prior to the current pandemic that we're looking at, but this is also from Flexera, and this is a 2020 Cio Priorities Report. And what it is indicating is that roughly the same number, 80% of respondents are planning additional investments in reskilling or upskilling their existing staff. So definitely, definitely responding to the need. The companies know that cloud migration, cloud adoption, digital is big, and obviously with COVID, it's really, really big. If you're not digital right now, you're having some significant issues. So at the beginning of the year, at least, that 80% of companies were investing in additional reskilling efforts. Now, obviously, coronavirus does make an impact here, though. Another survey report from Dresner Advisory Services is reporting that 61% of respondents are reporting that coronavirus is impacting their projects, is impacting their budgets. And we know this from our customers. We've talked to several customers that had to reschedule or cancel training simply because all the unknowns out there. So this is a definite big blocker that's, not only affecting poor little us in the training industry, but the entire planet. So the question is, how do you deal with this kind of adversity? And before we dive into that, I kind of want to give you the landscape. If you're starting to think about how do I reskill for the cloud, how do I reskill my organization, et cetera, if you're new to this, or even if you're not, the cloud has a few different caveats that you should understand. Let's start with just kind of the breakdown is what is the landscape for training. So traditional instructor-led training, and this is, something that we do at Opsgility all the time. We do dedicated instructor-led training all the time. And what this really is, our trainer with your team, 15, 20 people asking questions, getting really deep into your scenarios and teaching the technology, right? It's very immersive. It's very specialized. A lot of times it's even customized where we're really giving training on your specific environment. Obviously, this gets a little bit more expensive, though. It's very high touch, very dedicated type training. It can range anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 per student per course. So if you start looking at some of the more advanced cloud certifications, like MS300 or AZ303, the architecture training, those require 2 full courses. They can price all the way to $6,000 for a single student or a single class or certification in this case. So definitely a very high value, but a little bit pricey. And the whole point of this session is to talk about how do we stretch that budget. Well, the second tier that you'll see, and there's lots of vendors out there that do this. They have on-demand learning platforms where you can subscribe, watch videos on demand. Some of them even have some limited hands-on labs. And this is definitely a lot more cost-effective, but you lose the ability to talk to the instructor and all the really important things that you liked about traditional instructor-led training. You're now limited to watching other people do things on a video. Still a lot of value in that, don't get me wrong, but that's really the trade-off you're making between those two. And then the third piece that you have to always realize whenever you're dealing with cloud is not a product. You don't download it, put it on your laptop. You have to have a subscription to it. So, if you're managing access to subscriptions for tens, hundreds, or even thousands of users, it gets really, really complicated and potentially very risky and expensive very fast. So how do we help you with that when it comes to Skill Me Up? So Skill Me Up is really an online learning platform that consists of 3 different components. The on-demand piece, which is, just as I mentioned, it's on-demand videos, it's courses built by cloud experts. So these are people that live and breathe 365, live and breathe Microsoft Azure. We do have comprehensive coverage of certification paths in Azure and 365. So Every certification path there is, it's either online right now or being built and developed and shipped within the next 3 to 4 weeks. So our goal is to make sure we have 100% cloud coverage for the Microsoft stack. And above and beyond certifications, because to me, certification training is very foundational. To become an expert in this technology, certification is kind of your baseline. And that's for the beyond certification training, the advanced training, the deep dives into certain technologies. That's all available on demand as well. The second component that we bring to the table is live training. Live training is pretty unique in the industry in the sense that it's part of your subscription. So we offer 2 different kinds of components, or 2 primary components. And this is expert talks, which is, every week you'll see a lineup of industry recognized experts from around the world signed up and giving, 1 hour to 3 hour talks, just like you would go to a conference to learn from, and they're going to cover lots of different topics. So these are always ongoing, so it's like a live virtual conference every week. And we also have full courses that cover everything from certification prep all the way to really deep dive classes. I think we're running AZ-204, the developer class, and containers, and all kinds of very advanced, amazing training, all as part of your subscription. Now, the unique thing about this, we'll talk a little bit more in details later, is these are all designed around a flexible schedule. So not only is it cost effective, it's time effective. And the third piece, of course, is real-time labs. So we have hundreds of online labs that you can jump in. You're leveraging our Azure subscriptions, our 365 subscriptions. They range all the way from beginner to advanced. And we also have the ability launching very, very soon where you'll be able to actually go through the challenges, validate that you did the right work, and get a badge all in real time. So the other thing I want to mention here is it's not just about the technology. The technology is important, don't get me wrong. Having the best platform is amazing. Having the best content is amazing. But helping you understand how to accomplish your goals is one of the most important parts. And that's really where our account training specialists and our cloud training architects come in. Our account training specialists are specialized in the cloud. They're certified in Microsoft Azure and 365, and they're really highly trained experts that are designed to help you figure out the right learning plan for your organization. And our cloud training architects are, of course, the technical experts that build the content, deliver the content. They also mentor and train and enable organizations. How do you get enabled on the Microsoft cloud? So dig a little bit deeper into the platform. For our on-demand library, we do have hundreds of on-demand courses, covers a full spectrum of the Microsoft cloud, as well as a lot of courses that help you get there. So we know a lot of people that are coming to the industry, coming to cloud, don't have that solid foundation of, how do I do Windows Server? How do I manage Windows 10 desktops? How do I deploy antivirus and do installations and Linux and SQL and .NET and security and networking, et cetera, et cetera. And that's really where these foundational technologies are designed. They're designed to allow you to get those core capabilities up to speed so you can become an expert in enabling your organization on the cloud. In our live training, as I mentioned, we have our expert talks. These are these bleeding edge sessions. We also have live courses and a third component, and this is our hands-on workshops. So these are a little bit different from our real-time labs because our real-time labs are completely on demand. A hands-on workshop is with a live instructor where you all will go through a really cool scenario. It could be very beginner, it could be advanced, and you're all doing this virtually all in an Azure or 365 subscription. And like the challenge-based lab I mentioned earlier, you do get a badge at the end of the day if you complete the hands-on workshop. So it's kind of like a live cloud challenge, like a better word. And of course, real-time labs, these are 100% available, unlimited. Start a lab, complete it. You're in our subscription. You're not, messing with your production environment. We do have step-by-step guides. So if you're brand new to the cloud or any of the technologies that we have them all the way from the beginner all the way to very advanced. And the challenge-based labs, like I mentioned earlier, this is a brand new feature that we're launching in about maybe a week, hopefully next week, maybe the week after. But they're going to be really fun where you'll be able to go through our hands-on labs. Once you are through with the first challenge, you'll request a validation. The system will validate that you did everything correctly. And if you didn't, it'll tell you how to fix it. If you did, it'll move you on. And if you complete the challenge, then you'll get a nice little Skill Me Up Azure or 365 or Windows Server challenge badge that you can post up on LinkedIn. Really, really awesome feature that allows you to really measure your results, impress your friends, family, and colleagues with your elite LinkedIn badges. And of course, this all been from the end user perspective, but we're talking about how do you manage, this at scale? How do you scale and train an entire organization? And that's where our management capabilities come from. So from the perspective of managing, we do provide you a really powerful portal for inviting and managing your users. You can organizing in multiple teams for easier reporting or course load assignment. And we also offer a really powerful feature that a lot of other learning providers don't, and that is the ability to reassign licenses. Some learning providers require you to buy a license and it stays with that user forever. And in our model, we allow you to buy a license and you can reassign it to other users. And what we see our customers do that makes this super cost effective is they will onboard users for one quarter, let them get trained, measure it, get them assigned, and once they're trained, they take them out of the platform and they put other users in for the next quarter. So it's kind of like a rolling wave of training every year. Very, very cost effective and powerful capability. And the second management piece is our learning area. And the learning area allows you as the learning manager to create custom learning paths if you want to. These are totally optional. Your users can come and take any training they want. But if you want to give them specific training, like you have to get X, Y, and Z done before the end of May, this is where you do that at. You can build custom learning plans. You can give them specific dates and assign it to individual users or to a whole team. So it makes it really easy and efficient to manage these. And finally, the reporting aspect. Reporting allows you to figure out who's using your service. Are they not using it? If they're not, can we, punt them and get someone that will take advantage of those licenses? All about cost savings. So you really need to watch, who's actually leveraging the service. And of course, the other things are you can identify which courses and labs are popular with your users and track the progress of, your learning activities. Are people actually, you enrolled them in a 5-day class or a 2-day live class? Are they actually taking the training? Did they, do that time that you set aside for them? And before we jump into a live demo, just want to quickly show the different subscription tiers. We have our individual tier, which is unlimited courses, real-time labs, and live training. Our team tier, which includes those team-based management features and reporting that I just mentioned. And the enterprise tier, everything that's included in all the others, but we do include 2 additional features, and this is single sign-on support and our reporting API. So some additional features at a large enterprise level that you would need. And the reporting API is super powerful if you have an enterprise-wide LMS that you need to import data into to assign back to your users. We have that available to you. Okay, so now that you've heard me talk for a while, let me flip over and I'm going to show you what the actual platform looks like. So what you're seeing here is basically the entry point. If I'm a user and I log into SkillMeUp for the very first time or for the third time, doesn't really matter. This is kind of your homepage. And what you'll see here is, we have this broadcast of all the latest courses and, content that's coming in the catalog. So these are really easy. You can view them, dismiss them, get them out of your view, whatever. But this helps a user keep up to date, like what's coming up. Now, if they also want to scroll down a little ways, they can see all the latest content. So this is all the courses and things that we posted in the last 30 days. So you can see it's a pretty big chunk of content that for your users to consume. We also make it easy to figure out what's the most popular learning paths, and if they want to see all of the upcoming live training, very easy to navigate that way as well. Now, we also do have a catalog browser here, and this is organized by role. So if you're a IT professional, you can go here and you can see here's a foundational courses, your Azure 365. We do have some AWS training. I wouldn't say that that's comprehensive as our Azure training, but that's an area that we're investing in to get a broader spectrum for the customers that are a little bit more cross-cloud than just a pure Azure or 365. So if we go into our landing page for Azure for IT pros, you can see we separate everything from learning paths, lectures to labs. And what a learning path does is what would be the equivalent of a full class. So if I'm looking at AZ-104, it's a brand new course. It's the exam is still in beta. It's so bleeding edge. You can see we have 5 courses, 23 labs. We have basically 55 hours of training available for this one learning path. And this is all bleeding edge content just recorded and put online in the last month. But you can see in the learning path, it's broken up by lectures and hands-on labs. So if I open up a lecture, just to give you an idea what the course player looks like, you can see that we have the course player on the left, the video, and all of our videos have closed captioning built into it. So you can kind of watch it, turn the sound off, and still get a good idea what's going on. You can easily navigate the course itself. So we break everything up in different sections, make it easy to jump down to a demo or to take an assessment. So every course module we have has an assessment that you can jump in. And this is what, for your end users, they prove their skills. They answer the questions that they learned in the class. But what's really powerful here is this is how they complete a course. And from a learning manager perspective, if they pass the assessments, this is how it shows to you as a learning manager if they actually completed the course in your reporting by actually passing the assessments. So that's some of the key capabilities of Course Player. You can, of course, take notes as you go along. It tracks the spot in the video where you took the notes. And if you do need to talk back to the instructor, maybe something wasn't clear, you can go to the support piece and you can literally write a question in here, say, hey, Scott, this didn't make sense. What did you mean? And Scott or one of our other experts will get back to you and actually answer your questions about the course that you ran into. Now, another capability that I wanted to mention is our real-time labs. So this is a hands-on lab that basically teaches you how to get started using Azure PowerShell. It usually takes one of our labs 2 to 3 minutes to get started, to spin up. And once it's spun up, you click the Open Lab Player button. And what we'll give you is a full-blown virtual machine running in the cloud, running in a web browser too. So if you're one of those companies that blocks access to virtual machines over the internet, we help you get around that by putting this all over HTTP, so it's not blocked by your firewall. And this makes it easy to make sure you don't have to bug your security, but it also gives you the ability to run everything on a VM in the cloud. So if we're having your students download a bunch of files like Azure Data Explorer and they don't have access to on their work machines, they can still do the work, and it doesn't bother impact your environment at all. Now, the second thing that's really nice about this lab environment is we do give you full-blown access to your Azure subscription, to our Azure subscription, to be clear. And this allows them to jump into Azure, learn how the cloud works without impacting your production subscriptions or, even having to keep track of the sandbox for that matter. They can use ours to get to the hands-on labs. Makes it very quick and easy to actually get hands-on learning with the cloud. Now, the other piece I wanted to highlight here is our live training. And as I mentioned, there's really 3 components to our live training. We have expert talks, we have live courses, and hands-on workshops. And as you can see on our expert talks, we have a lot of them scheduled. So this is just through April and May. And these are live instructor-led sessions. So you'll see Jonathan Talani, Joseph D'Antoni, Liam Cleary. These are Microsoft 365 MVPs, Azure MVPs, people from Skillmia, experts in the industry that are really jumping in and teaching your team how to become an expert in this certain topic. And we take requests. So if you would like to see a topic on an expert talk, ask your account training specialist and they'll get it on the schedule. Now, we also record all their expert talks too. So after the expert talk is complete, if you missed it, you can pop over here and you can see all the sessions. Like we just had Dwayne Natway deliver a session on Azure Sentinel, an introduction to Azure DevOps talk that happened on 14th. So it's always populated with fresh new content all the time. Now, one other piece I'll show on live is the courses catalog. And courses is a little bit different in the sense that an expert talk is usually a 1 to 3 hour session. A course is a true course. It's going to have sometimes one session that takes a good chunk of the day, or it might be over multiple days. So let's take a look at AZ204, the Developing Solutions for Microsoft Azure. This course is split up over, looks like starts on April 20th all the way out through May 1st. And how we do this is we make it where it's, 2 to 3 hour blocks of time. So it's very flexible. It's very easy for your team to take the training. You're not blocking out a whole week for them to, just shut down operations and learn something. They can jump in for 3 hours a day, listen to the lecture, do the hands-on labs as homework, and really get the same benefit they would in an instructor-led training class, but a fraction of the cost and definitely a fraction of the pain for your time scheduling. So it definitely makes it a lot more convenient on how to tackle that. And all they have to do is click enroll here. Once they click enroll, it will send them an invite. It'll actually add it to their calendar. They don't take the training live right here. They'll actually show up on April 20th, 9 a.m., join a virtual training session, just like you would any other virtual training session. Very, very powerful stuff. Now, I want to flip over and show the admin piece of this. So this is what it looks like as the learning manager. You're managing a subscription for your customers or for your learners. So on the dashboard, you can kind of see we have some really quick stats, like the most active users, top teams, top courses. You can see the number of licenses you have and the number that are assigned. We're clearly not being efficient with our licenses. And also kind of a high level, how many people are actually, signing in every day. From here, I can also jump into different components like User Manager. This is how we can invite users to our subscription. We can put them in, let them have access. We can also very easily remove a license from one. And if we do that, that will free up a license for someone else. So it makes it very easy to do that license roll, keep our spending efficient while still giving everyone in the organization the training they need. And I can also, as I mentioned earlier, create different teams. So I can split this up by our 365 people, our marketing staff, our cloud experts, whatever I want to call it, and I put the right people in here. And once they're in teams, that makes it really easy to filter and reporting, like how's the marketing team doing, how's Paul's team doing, et cetera, et cetera. I can really find out who's getting the most value out of the subscription. And the second thing it does is it makes it really easy to create targeted learning plans, right? So in here, I can go in and create a new learning plan, and maybe I want everyone to get AZ-104 certified. So I can go in and I can give them a target end date when they want to get that training completed. And I can either pick individual users or I can pick a specific team. So maybe I wanted to be really mean and ask our marketing team to get AZ-104 certified. Might be a little much, so maybe we'll just stick with to our cloud experts. And from there, we just pick the role that we're targeting. So in this case, AZ-104 would be in the IT pro space. Then we just need to go down and find the right track. So AZ-104 is the one that we're thinking about. Click the plus sign, and here are all the different artifacts inside that learning path. I can remove some, I can tweak it, I can add it. So you could use our existing learning path with 104, or you can completely make your own. And it doesn't really have to be certification specific. You can do whatever you want to it. And once you build that learning path, it'll confirm, and at the very end, you click create. This will essentially assign learning tasks to everyone in that learning plan. And now they're going to get an email that says, hey, I have to complete this course by June 20th, and then hopefully actually go take the exam. Now, the final piece I want to show is our reporting aspect. So reporting right now, we have 5 different reports, and we're always adding to this more and more often, so you can get more and more value out of your data. But the first report is our subscription summary, and this report's really going to be the high level of who's doing what in your subscription. You can scroll through and you can see how many hours of videos they've watched, how many courses they started, courses completed, and all kinds of other good detail, like, are they actually active? We have some other ones like our user management, our activity summary. This will give you how many people are signing in every month. If I have 40 people and 5 people are using a platform, maybe I need to do some additional evangelism internally to help get the usage up, make sure they're getting the benefit out of the training. And you can also see down here what's most popular. Is it courses? Is it hands-on labs? Or is it taking a live training? So all kinds of different reports in here, and even the live training activity. If we open this up, you can go in and see exactly which courses that you set aside time for and how many minutes did they actually attend. So if you told Andrew to take the Azure Developer Fundamentals Life Hack and he had 0 minutes here, you could go back and have some questions for him. Or you could actually see how productive he was and learn how to do developer fundamentals. So again, it's a comprehensive plan from on-demand learning to live training to hands-on labs, and with all the learning management features that you would expect to actually try to do this at an organization or enterprise level. So that is it for our Skill Me Up demo. And just again, thank you very much for attending our webinar. Just want to kind of close it off by saying, as Opsgility, we do have all these really creative solutions for the Microsoft Cloud. Any questions you have for us, please reach out, sales@opsgility.com, or if you have already working with an account training specialist, definitely reach out for them. Happy to assist you in any way. Obviously, stick around here for a few more minutes if you have any questions about the presentation. Be happy to see you on chat. Thanks, everybody. All right, we're going to go ahead and close the webinar out. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you get started on your journey to the cloud. Thank you very much.